Hello friends, 6 Billion here today, and with The Last of Us officially announced for Halloween Horror Nights 2022, I wanted to run through the game and highlight what sections we can expect to see, and discuss if this haunt could bring back some scare tactics that haven't been used at the event in a while. Most of these thoughts are going to be with Orlando in mind, since that is my home Halloween event, but a lot of this should be applicable for Hollywood as well. And of course, spoiler alert in effect for The Last of Us game and TV series. Now, we have more or less seen The Last of Us featured at HHN Orlando before, in the form of the original concept haunt Seeds of Extinction. Also taking place decades after a post-apocalyptic event, I'd expect a lot of the scenic design work and the gross, overgrown fungi vibes to be recreated. While this still may be speculation, we do have some concrete info to look forward to. First off, it has been confirmed that the haunt will take place in the Pittsburgh section of the game, which may be a bit of a disappointment for some. For both fans of the show and the video game, this places the HHN haunt between Joel and Ellie's initial attack by the hunters all the way through Sam and Henry's tragic ending. Personally, I think it's an incredibly smart choice to stick to the most textbook section of the game, as each chapter has their own emotional dynamics, and it would be a bit difficult to create a cohesive narrative based off of the entire story. After complaining for years about IP haunts being overstuffed with narrative, I finally feel validated. Still, given the limited interactions with infected in this section, I don't think that this will be a linear interpretation of the story, but I'd still count on seeing more scares featuring the infected than the hunters for one big reason: guns. Since Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City was featured a decade ago, the only other pure video game adaptation at HHN, firearms were much more prevalent throughout their haunts, with even a few featuring guests consistently in the line of fire. Today, this tactic is only used when it's very clear that the guests are not being targeted. And if you've played The Last of Us, you know that the hunters don't take kindly to other humans. Still, I can't see guns returning in a big way to this haunt. I think any hunters that appear will either be firing at the affected or using melee weapons from the game. There are tons of interactions with these murderous humans throughout Pittsburgh, but their camps do give off major Terminus vibes from the less than stellar later Walking Dead haunts, so I can't see them being the main focus. I do, however, think that the armored truck or the escape from Pittsburgh will be featured, and I would hope to see those old school HHN turrets brought out of the warehouse for these scenes. Also, friends, if you aren't subscribed, smash that button like it's a clicker so I can continue to bring you videos like this. As for the location specifically mentioned in the press release, it's no surprise that the Hotel Grand will likely make up a large chunk of the haunt with its two distinct sections. The first is a tense cat and mouse game through the floors of the hotel, avoiding murderous hunters. Universal loves to create those long misdirection hallways with tons of doors on either side, never quite knowing where the scares may come from, so I'd expect to see a similar scene in this haunt. However, even more thrilling is the basement, a heart-pounding onslaught of the infected, including a terrifying bloater in hot pursuit. Oh, and this section also starts shrouded in darkness, with Joel powering up a generator to escape, awakening even more infected, and the sound design is just the stuff of nightmares. But this isn't even what I'm speculating to be the best part of the haunt. Now, a labyrinth of dark and dank tunnels doesn't really sound too exciting, except the only area in Pittsburgh that fits the bill are the sewers, baby! I'd argue this is the strongest section of the game, and like in the hotel basement, these infected stalkers love to play hide and seek in the shadows. Combine that with the low lighting and the sheer volume, variety, and aggression of infected, and there are plenty of opportunities for some incredible scares. Naughty Dog also stated that these haunts would focus on the tiniest details that the fans know so well, so I really hope that we get to see some nods to the saga of Ish. If you know the story, you'll probably agree. If you don't, well, the jump scares won't be the only thing that keep you up at night. Now that we've explored what is already semi-confirmed, what else could possibly be featured? I'm sure some adaptation of the sniper attack will make its way in. The concept of a long, abandoned suburban street that becomes overrun with infected is too good not to pursue. The Bookstore Shootout is another tense interaction with the hunters, and if Universal wanted a big, show-stopping two-story set piece in the middle of the haunt, this would be a fantastic way to open up after exploring the more claustrophobic sections. The financial district encounter would also accomplish the same effect. Now, I do want to mention a couple of things I don't think will be experienced in The Last of Us, and one of those is water. I'm not talking about the minor effects to simulate rain or blood spray, but those giant bodies that have appeared everywhere as the world continues to crumble. HHN has tried this before, but they've been relatively unsuccessful. The fourth Walking Dead haunt unsuccessfully featured actors in glorified kiddie pools, and the rowboat in last year's Dead Man's Pier, Winter's Wake, didn't really float due to the reservoir leaking. I also wouldn't expect to relive many of the cinematics beat for beat outside of a few quick vignettes or references. I'm sure we'll see a crashed elevator as a transition from the hotel to the basement, and maybe a forced perspective view of the Pittsburgh Bridge as we wander into the sewers. But many of these moments are either purely character-driven or far too ambitious for even HHN's budget. Instead, we'll probably hear a lot of this dialogue as various audio triggers for the scares, and I would 100% bet on hearing Ellie say,
I shot the hell out of that guy, huh?
at some point. And with all that being said, The Last of Us is currently at the top of my hype list. Chucky may be my favorite horror franchise, but I think the Infected are gonna come with a more complete package. If HHN Hollywood can pull off this astonishing feat in their Alien vs. Predator maze from a decade ago, I can't wait to see these bloaters. What are you hopeful to see in The Last of Us? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this content, consider becoming a billionaire and subscribing to the channel if you love horror just like me. Until next time, go make the world a better place. 6 Billion, signing off.